My name is Victoria Blake. I'm 34 years old. 3 weeks before my younger sister Rebecca's birthday. My mother sent me a text that began ending something I had spent years trying to protect. We're keeping Rebecca's birthday small this year. Immediate family only. No extra caos. I was standing in my kitchen when it arrived. My daughter Lily sat at the table doing homework. Her pencil tapping softly against the page, while she hummed under her breath. I read the message once. Then again, Lily looked up. Her eyes landed on my face immediately. Children notice pain faster than adults admit. Mum. I lowered the phone. What? She tilted her head. Are we the chaos? The question hit harder than the text, because she already knew the answer. Not logically. Emotionally, I wanted to tell her no. Instead, I stood there holding the phone while last year replayed itself in my head. Rebecca's birthday dinner, the spilled juice, Lily apologizing with tears in her eyes, my mother leaning down and saying she should sit outside in the car until she could behave like family. Lily had been 9. Rebecca later texted me asking why I had made such a dramatic exit. I never forgot that message. I looked back at my daughter. No, I said quietly. Then, after a pause, I added the truth. Yes. She lowered her eyes to her workbook. I replied to my mother, okay, I'll cancel the catering. That sentence needed history, because for 4 years I had quietly become the person who paid, not because anyone demanded it, at least not at first. When Dad died, everything changed. Rebecca still lived at home. Mom struggled. I had already built my event planning company by then. Small. Steady. Enough to survive. So I helped birthday dinners, holiday meals, reservations, cakes, decor. I told myself it was temporary. A gesture. Love. Then one day, it became expectation. Rebecca was 32. Lily was 10. Sometimes, I felt my mother treated them as though they were competing for the same space. 2 months earlier, Mom had called asking whether I could handle Rebecca's birthday again, because she couldn't deal with the stress. I booked a private dining room at a new Italian restaurant downtown. Deposit paid. Custom cake ordered. Floral centerpieces, designed by my team. Rebecca approved the menu herself. Mom approved the guest list. I was on it. Apparently, Lily wasn't. A few minutes after my cancellation text, Mom replied, no need. We adjusted. Adjusted. That word stayed with me. Wrong shape. Wrong weight. I opened the restaurant portal. My access was gone. I stared at the screen, then called immediately. The manager sounded polite. Yes. Ms. Blake. The reservation is active. It was transferred to Rebecca Blake. I went still. And payment. Silence. Then, carefully, the card on file remains yours. I sat down, very slowly, because suddenly I understood. They removed me. Not my money. I checked my banking app. The final balance was still scheduled for processing the night of the dinner. No authorization request. No call. Nothing. They had moved the reservation. Kept my card. Deleted my name. I didn't text Mom. I didn't call Rebecca. I wanted to see how far this would go. 2 days later, Rebecca posted a photo on social media. The private dining room. My room. Caption: keeping it peaceful this year. Lily sat beside me when it appeared. She looked at it, closed her math book, went upstairs without saying a word. That silence scared me, more than crying ever would. That night, I emailed the restaurant asking who authorized the transfer. The manager replied the next morning. It wasn't Rebecca. It was my mother. And, according to her, I wanted to remain anonymous because I hate attention. I stared at that sentence for a very long time. The dinner was 4 days away. I still could have canceled everything. Instead, I made one quiet phone call. Not to Mom. Not to Rebecca. To the bank. I explained there was a pending charge scheduled under my card that I had not authorized. The representative asked whether I wanted immediate action. No. I looked out the kitchen window while Lily played in the yard. When exactly will it process? 8:17 p.m. On the event date. I thanked her, hung up, then called the restaurant again. The same manager answered. Chris speaking. Hi. It's Victoria Blake. Recognition immediately softened his tone. I told him calmly I was no longer financially responsible. That I had been excluded. That I would not pay. Long silence. Your mother seemed certain you were hosting. I'm not. Another pause. Would you like to cancel? I closed my eyes. Thought about Lily asking if she was chaos. Thought about Rebecca smiling under decorations I designed. No, I said quietly. Keep everything exactly as planned. Silence. Then I added, when the bill comes, present it in full. He hesitated, then agreed. The rest of the week felt strangely empty. Mom never mentioned the dinner again. Rebecca posted countdown stories. Lily pretended not to care. Friday evening, she asked softly if we had plans for the weekend. I smiled. Movies. Ice cream. Just us. She nodded immediately, like she had already expected not to belong somewhere else. That broke me a little. Saturday arrived. At 7:42 p.m. Rebecca uploaded another photo. Long table. Everyone smiling. Mom at the center. My floral arrangements. My cake with Rebecca's name in gold lettering. Caption. Perfect night with the people who matter. I stared at it. Didn't feel angry. Only clear. At 8:42 p.m. My phone vibrated. Attempted charge declined. 2 hours earlier. I had frozen the card. I refreshed the page. Another photo appeared. Champagne glass. Laughter. Then silence. At 8:41 p.m. Mom called. I let it ring. Then again. Then Rebecca. Then Mom. I answered. She didn't say hello. What is wrong with your card? I leaned back against the couch. Nothing's wrong with it, I said calmly. Behind her voice, I could hear movement. Chairs scraping. Dishes shifting. Someone speaking quietly to a server. Mom lowered her voice. They're saying it declined. I said nothing. Fix it. I looked toward the hallway. Lily was in her room. The movie tickets from earlier still sat on the coffee table beside 2 empty ice cream cups. I'm not there, I said. Silence. Then, sharper. You're paying. The words landed without hesitation. Not would you, not can you, just certainty. I stared at the wall. I wasn't invited. Everything went quiet. In the background, I heard Rebecca asking what was happening. Mom came back. Don't embarrass us. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because somehow, even now, I was still responsible for protecting their dignity. I canceled the catering. I reminded her softly. You said that. She snapped. But we adjusted. There it was again. That word. Adjusted. As if removing me while keeping my money had been reasonable. Yeah, I said quietly. You did. Someone else spoke in the background. A man, probably the manager. Mom lowered her voice again. Just run the card one more time. It won't work. Long pause. Then, almost whispering, did you do this on purpose? I closed my eyes. Yes. And I hung up. I put my phone face down. For a while the house stayed silent. Then, footsteps. Lily appeared holding my phone. Grandma texted me. My stomach dropped. She handed it over. Tell your mother to answer. That was it. No hello. No asking how she was. No concern. Just instructions. Sent to a 10-year-old child. Something inside me hardened. I took Lily's phone. Blocked my mother immediately. Lily watched quietly. Is Grandma mad? I pulled her into my arms. Sometimes adults make bad choices when they feel trapped. She nodded. Too easily. Like she had already learned that lesson. My phone rang again. Rebecca. I answered. She didn't bother pretending confusion. You ruined my birthday. Straight to the point. I looked toward the kitchen window. Streetlights glowed outside. Who told you I was paying? Silence. Then, Mom said, you wanted to make up for last year. I actually smiled at that. Creative. Painfully creative. I have the emails. Rebecca. Nothing. The reservation transfer. Mom keeping my card. Everything. More silence. Then finally, so what? I froze. You always pay anyway. The room disappeared for a second. Not thank you. Not appreciation. Just expectation. You always pay anyway. 4 years of helping reduce to obligation. Not this time. I said. Rebecca exhaled sharply. The restaurant wouldn't let us leave. Aunt Elaine's card didn't work. Uncle Mark hit his spending limit. Mom is arguing with the manager in front of everyone. I pictured it. The room, my flowers, my centerpiece, designs, the cake with Rebecca's name, and my mother insisting she was the victim. Rebecca finally muttered, Fine. I'll handle it. Then hung up. 10 minutes later, I got an email notification. Restaurant portal access restored. I logged in. The bill had been split. Rebecca covered part. A relative covered another. The rest remained outstanding. Then another email appeared. From Chris. Your mother requested we attempt your card again after being informed authorization was removed. I read further. She asked whether legal action could be pursued against you for the remaining balance. I stared at the screen. Legal action. Over a birthday dinner I had been excluded from. I replied immediately. Attached screenshots of my cancellation text. Requested written confirmation that I had no financial association with the reservation. Chris answered within minutes. Confirmed. It should have ended there. It didn't. Sunday morning, Rebecca posted a long message online. About jealousy. About people needing attention. About real family. The comments filled quickly. Support. Sympathy. Agreement. People who had no idea what happened. Lily saw it before I did. She stood beside me holding her tablet. Did I do something wrong again? The words barely came out. I looked at her. Really looked. At the child who apologized for existing every time my family hurt her. This was never about money. It never had been. Money was just the tool. The real issue was older. Deeper. They had decided years ago Lily was difficult. So loud. Too emotional. Too present. And now they were deciding I was the problem too. I called Mom that afternoon. She answered immediately. I didn't argue. I didn't mention the restaurant. You do not contact my daughter to manipulate me again. Silence. Then, I was trying to solve a problem. You created it. Her voice sharpened. Lily makes things difficult. The world went still. How? She paused, talked around it. Energy. Atmosphere. Rebecca being uncomfortable. The same vague language people use when they want to dislike someone without admitting why. She's 10. I said quietly. Mumsahil, you always overreact. That word. Again. Overreact. I stood by the kitchen counter, gripping the edge. If Lily isn't welcome, I said slowly, neither am I. Silence. Longer this time. Then she answered, maybe that's for the best. No anger. No drama. Just certainty. And somehow that hurt more, because she meant it. For the first time in my life, I believe she truly meant it. After that, she didn't call again. Rebecca didn't either. But silence didn't mean peace. 2 days later, Aunt Elaine called. Her voice sounded hesitant. I don't want to get involved, she said carefully. But you should know your mother's telling people you set them up. I closed my eyes. Set them up. She says you promised to pay, then humiliated everyone on purpose. I laughed once, softly, no humor in it. I opened my messages, forwarded everything. The cancellation text, the email confirmations, Rebecca's post about the people who matter. Aunt Elaine went quiet. Minutes passed. Then finally she said, "This isn't the first time your mother twisted things." The sentence stayed with me after the call ended, because suddenly memories started rearranging themselves. Lily's school recital, where Grandma forgot to tell us the time change. The Christmas photo where Lily was moved to the edge because she wiggled too much. Rebecca introducing Lily to people as dramatic, before they even met her. I had always called it family messiness. But messy wasn't the right word. Deliberate was. Thursday afternoon, Rebecca appeared at my house, unannounced. Lily was upstairs. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. Rebecca stood on the porch with crossed arms. No apology, no regret, only tension. Mom's been crying all week, she said. I looked at her for a long moment. The autumn wind moved through the trees between our houses. Rebecca avoided my eyes. Finally, she added, "You made this bigger than it needed to be." I almost smiled. Because that sentence sounded so much like Mom, I could hear her voice inside it. I folded my arms. "Why does Lily make you uncomfortable?" Rebecca blinked. The question clearly wasn't what she expected. "What?" "Answer me." Her eyes shifted toward the front window. Toward my house? Toward the room where my daughter was probably reading upstairs. "She's loud," Rebecca said finally. "She asks too many questions." I waited. She doesn't know when to stop. I stared at her. "She's a child." Rebecca exhaled. "You always put her first." The words caught me off guard. Above everyone. I frowned. Above who? Silence. Then, quietly, above me. Everything shifted. Not suddenly, slowly, like puzzle pieces finding their places. Rebecca had always been the center. The youngest, the protected one. Dad adored her. Mom built entire worlds around her feelings. I left home at 19. Worked 2 jobs. Built my company from nothing. No safety net. No rescue. Then Lily was born, and my life naturally moved around her. Not competitively, not intentionally, just the way mothers love. But maybe Rebecca never saw it that way. "Mom thinks she lost you," she said. I laughed softly. Mom pushed me away. Rebecca looked down. "You made Lily your whole world." "Yes." I answered immediately. No hesitation. Her eyes lifted. She needed me. Rebecca went quiet, then asked something that told me more than anything else had. "Does Lily even miss us?" I looked at her. Really looked. At my 32-year-old sister standing on my porch, asking whether a child missed people who had repeatedly made her feel unwanted. She misses the idea of having a grandmother who likes her. Rebecca's face changed. Only slightly, but enough. She looked toward the street, then left. No shouting, no slammed doors, just silence. That night, Lily came downstairs in pajamas. Aunt Elaine said, "She might come to my school play." I smiled. "She is." Lily's eyes widened. "Really?" I nodded. She grinned, then ran back upstairs. And something painful hit me. No one from my side of the family had ever gone before. Not one play, not one recital, not one event. I had spent years showing up for everyone else. No one had shown up for her. Aunt Elaine came. She brought flowers, sat in the second row, clapped the loudest. Afterward, she hugged Lily and told her she had been wonderful. Lily talked about it for days. Mom never mentioned the play. Rebecca didn't either. A week later, an email arrived. From Mom. Subject line, reimbursement. Attached was a spreadsheet. Restaurant expenses. Remaining balance. Highlighted totals. Her message sat beneath it. Since you originally offered to host, it is only fair that you cover 1/3. Then the line that made me stare at the screen for nearly a minute. Family doesn't weaponize money. Weaponize. I read it again and again, then replied with one sentence. I did not host the dinner. I was uninvited. Her response came almost immediately. You're choosing pride over family. That was the moment something finally settled inside me. Because in Mom's version of reality, there was never a world where she had hurt me, only a world where I reacted That weekend, Rebecca posted photos from brunch at Mom's house. Smiling faces. Long table. Caption. Fresh starts. Positive energy. Lily saw it. Didn't react. Later that evening, she sat beside me on the couch. If we stopped going there, she hesitated. Would they notice? The question hurt more than anything else had, because children only ask that when they already know the answer. Yes. I told her softly, but honestly, I wasn't sure. 2 days later, the school office called. Ms. Blake, your mother is here. I froze. What? She says she's picking Lily up for ice cream. I left work immediately. When I arrived, Mom stood in the office lobby, holding a paper bag. Lily stood beside the secretary, her hand gripping her backpack strap, not moving toward her grandmother. Mom smiled when she saw me. I just wanted to surprise her. She's not approved for pickup. The smile faded. I'm her grandmother. I walked to Lily, took her hand, and I'm her mother. Silence. For a second, I thought she would argue. Instead, she looked at Lily. You're turning her against us. I shook my head. No. I'm teaching her boundaries. Mom left without touching her. The moment the door closed, Lily squeezed my hand. Can we go home? That night, I updated every school contact form. Only me and Aunt Elaine. It felt extreme. It also felt necessary. The next morning, Rebecca texted, Mom says you humiliated her at school. This is getting ridiculous. I stared at it, then put the phone down. No reply. Instead, I called an old friend, Jason, a lawyer. Not because I wanted war, because for the first time, I realized Mom might never stop at guilt. She might keep pushing, and Lily deserved a mother prepared for that. Jason listened quietly while I explained everything. The restaurant, the texts, the school visit, the reimbursement demand. When I finished, he asked one question. Has she ever threatened grandparents' rights? No. Good. He leaned back. But document everything. So I did. Screenshots, emails, dates, notes. Not because I planned to fight my own mother, because hope wasn't protection anymore. Evidence was... A week later, Mom sent a group message. Sunday dinner. Let's stop the drama and move on. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just reset. As if none of it happened. Lily looked at me. Are we going? I thought about the restaurant. The word chaos. The school office. The reimbursement email. I thought about every time I explained calmly, only to be told I was overreacting. No. I said, we're not. She simply nodded. No disappointment. Only understanding. That scared me too, because 10-year-olds shouldn't understand rejection that well. That same night, Rebecca posted another family photo. Caption: Distance shows who really cares enough to stay. I didn't respond. Didn't defend myself. Didn't explain. Instead, I booked a small cabin by a lake 2 hours away. Just me and Lily. No family. No phones. No noise. Only peace. The cabin sat beside a quiet lake, surrounded by pine trees. No cell service. No notifications. No family group chats. Just wind moving across the water. The first evening, Lily and I sat on the dock with our feet hanging over the edge. The sky was turning orange. She leaned against me. For a while, neither of us spoke. Then, softly, she asked, "Will Grandma ever like me?" The question didn't surprise me. It should have, but it didn't. Because children always know. They know who lights up when they enter a room, and who doesn't. I looked across the lake. Grandma loves in her own way. I said carefully. Lily waited. But sometimes, people love in ways that aren't healthy for us. She was quiet. Does that mean we're done? I wrapped my arm around her shoulders. It means we're choosing peace. She nodded. That night we made hot chocolate and played cards by the fireplace. She laughed, really laughed. The kind of laugh I hadn't heard much lately. And I realized something terrifying. My daughter was lighter away from my family. On the drive home the next afternoon, my phone exploded with missed calls, texts, voicemails. Mom had apparently told relatives I was keeping Lily away out of spite. A few cousins reached out asking what happened. For the first time in years, I didn't explain, didn't defend, didn't send evidence. I opened the family group chat and typed, "Lily and I are stepping back. This isn't temporary. Please respect it." Mom called immediately. He let it ring. Her voicemail came minutes later. "You're tearing this family apart." I deleted it. Because families aren't destroyed by boundaries, they're revealed by them. A month passed. No surprise visits. No school appearances. No reimbursement emails. Rebecca still posted photos. Longue table. Smiles. Celebrations. We just weren't in them anymore. And somehow, the house felt lighter. Lily laughed more. She slept better. She stopped asking whether she was chaos. One afternoon, she came home from school and tossed her backpack on the floor. Guess what? What? I got the lead role in winter performance auditions. I smiled. That's amazing. She grinned. Can Aunt Elaine come? Not Grandma. Not Rebecca. Aunt Elaine. The one person who showed up. Of course. That evening, I sat alone in the kitchen after Lily went upstairs. The house was quiet. I thought about the last few years. The birthday dinners. The decorations. The checks written without hesitation. The excuses. The way I kept shrinking my own hurt because family was supposed to matter. I used to believe if I explained myself well enough, people would understand. If I stayed calm enough, patient enough, generous enough, things would get better. They didn't. Because understanding only works when both people want truth. My family wanted access. Access to my time, my money, my forgiveness, but not accountability. A week later, another message came from Mom. Sample, Sunday dinner. We miss you. No apology. Still none. I stared at it, then locked my phone. Lily walked into the kitchen. Who was it? Grandma. She paused. Are we going? I looked at her. At the child who once asked whether she was the chaos. The child who now smiled more than she had in years. No. She nodded, then smiled. Okay. No sadness, no guilt, just peace. That night I blocked the family group chat. Not out of anger, out of acceptance. Some people only love the version of you that keeps sacrificing the moment you stop. They call it betrayal, but protecting your child isn't betrayal. Teaching her self-worth isn't betrayal. Leaving places where she feels unwanted isn't betrayal. It's motherhood. 2 months later, Lily stood on stage during the winter performance. Aunt Elaine sat beside me, flowers in her lap. Lily found us in the crowd and smiled. Bright, certain, safe. Afterward, she ran into my arms. Did you see me? I saw everything. And I meant it, because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't busy carrying everyone else. I was finally present. A month has passed now. Rebecca still posts smiling photos. Mom still hosts dinners. We're just not there. And the world didn't end. The silence I feared became peace. The distance I resisted became freedom. Lily doesn't ask if she's the chaos anymore. She knows she never was. Sometimes the strongest thing a mother can teach her child isn't endurance. It isn't sacrifice. It isn't staying. Sometimes it's leaving the table where love always came with conditions.